Well, good morning, community. Welcome to Stroke of Genius Podcast Survivor Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Avila. I got a really special guest for you this morning. Her name is Kim Okali Leah. And, you know, the energy, like energy, attracts like energy. And I'll be honest with you, her energy, you'll see it in a minute. Her energy was just made me all warm and tingly all over. So I want to let's get right into it. I want you to meet her. I'm excited for you to meet her. So let's get into it.
The Stroke of Genius podcast, hosted by brain aneurysm and stroke survivor Aaron Avila, sharing the experiences of survivors and CEOs. This is your destination for inspiration.
Well, good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Aaron. How are you?
Really good. I got so excited about you being on the show. I forgot to read your intro. So would you please introduce yourself? We're stroke survivors, and this is live. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Well, my name is Kim O'Kelly Lee, and I've done everything. I am an actress, singer, author, piano teacher, singing teacher, meditation teacher, and a life and a recovery coach. And I specialize in our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So
That's really awesome. I'm really sorry to come in, but
it's
I
okay.
got so excited. I forgot to read your intro. I got it right in front of me, and I forgot. But would you please tell us what what was a life coach?
Yes, a life and recovery coach.
What is that?
So I'm not a therapist, but I do private classes, and I've done workshops, and I have group settings, and we meditate. And in my private sessions, we meditate together because I always feel it's very important to have a spiritual, and it's whatever you have. It is a God of your own understanding, and you don't have to name it God, but something that connects you to something deeper, something greater than yourself. And so we meditate, and then we talk, and we work on your specificity of your physicality. And I mean, if I'm working with stroke survivor, I support them in their home program. If I'm working, I work with a lot of different kinds of people. And then our emotional, I help you learn your mental patterns, because we all have mental patterns that need to be helped. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or they have these patterns, and I help you transmute the negative pattern into a positive one. And then we work on so that's our mental. And our emotional, we've got a lot of loss in the stroke community. And you know what? Everybody has a loss. Everybody has a deficit, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, right? Or spiritual. So I work with all of these things. I have different clients that I work with, differently. So, and I love doing that because I love helping people. So I've been doing that since 2010. And I've
Wow,
been
that's
teaching
really
piano
great.
and
Now,
singing.
people may not realize this because you were so articulate that you are a stroke survivor. So tell us, when did you have a
Yeah,
stroke?
let me tell you about that. So 2014, it was December. I had a hemorrhagic stroke at a family gathering, and I lost my entire left side. I absolutely could not move it. I couldn't take my left hand. I couldn't do anything. My leg. And I was in a recovery slash nursing home after a week in the hospital for 8 weeks. I didn't get home for 8 weeks. And I had very little therapy. I had like 35 minutes on my leg and 35 minutes on my arm. And yeah, it was terrible. But as soon as I got home, I said, I need to help myself. And I started getting on the ground. I figured out a way. I knew that I had to learn how to get off from the ground. I had been a dancer, so I had and I'd done yoga. So my body was in good shape. I mean, everybody said, Kim had a stroke. I was the most, unlikely person to have
Yeah.
a stroke. And I started getting and crawling, because crawling for babies helps your brain, right? Left and right side. And I just started doing all these things. I got into therapy again, and I moved up here, and I met Lane Hunter, who is another stroke survivor. And she had a stroke 2 weeks before mine. And we both were talking to the social worker at the hospital here in Bend, Oregon. And because I was living in Los Angeles, but I didn't think I didn't even know what I was going to be able to do. And so we moved up here, and we started a stroke group, which has turned into the stroke group that I met Aaron at.
Wait, Kim, you tell me that you started Stroke Awareness
No,
Oregon?
no, I started a stroke group at the hospital. And
Uh,
then Lane went to start Stroke Awareness Oregon and took over the group that we had under the umbrella of Stroke Awareness. And I started writing a 2-woman show, which I just in May of last year performed my own piece, which was amazing. Back on stage again. I never thought I would do it. Plus, I wrote my own. It was about my story, and it was thrilling.
yeah, you know that I put you, just so you know, audience, I put Kim's video in the description, so please watch it. It is the first video you sent me, the one that kind of tells your story. So please take a look at it.
Oh
Kim's
yeah,
video.
that was I knew I was going to have a good recovery. I The first thing was, I didn't know, I wasn't afraid of dying when it first happened. I knew I wasn't afraid of dying, but I was afraid of living because I didn't know what it was going to be like. I mean, I think we all go through that. How am I going to live now with this body or this speech impediment, and I meditated one morning. I'm a meditator for over 35 years on a daily basis, morning and night. So I have a very strong spiritual program already intact. And the first morning I got up when I was moved to the nursing home, and it came to me in meditation that I was going to take the journey with joy. And my husband came in that morning and he said, let's take this journey with joy.
No, oh
We
my
both
goodness.
got the same information of how that we were going to take this walk. I just get chills when I say that. And it was a choice. It was a determination. They told me, the neurologist said, oh, just go home and let your husband think for you. It made me so angry. And if he hadn't been there, I don't know what I would have done. I was shaking when I left that office. And I said, no, I insist. They told me I was semi-paralyzed, and I told them, no, I'm not. And don't say that to me, because, they tell you a lot of things. And in 2014, that was still the era that they said, you're only as good as the first year. Well, if you watch my video, you'll see that that's not true. It's the first 5 years of my recovery. And I just started taking the iPhone, and I encourage you all to really photograph yourself, do a little video so you can go back and watch, because we changed so much. It's repetition and specificity. The more you work at it, you just keep showing up. And listen, the emotional side is heavy. This is a tragedy that happens to us, and it's heavy. But we have a choice. What are we going to do with that tragedy? Right? What are we going to do? Are we going to lie down and do nothing and feel sorry for ourselves? Because that's part of it. That when I get sad and I start to go to that idea of what I lost, I get into a feeling of self-pity. And when I look at what I've gained, what I still have, I, I don't go down. And I have to tell you, I've never had one day of depression. I have had absolutely moments that I've broken down and I've been a puddle of tears. And right. And the loss is going to keep coming up. This has been my experience. It's there. It is, I wake up every morning and get out of bed and I meet my deficit. But it's what I do next that matters. And that's what I think is the key. What's our choice? I would get up, I was doing 5,000 steps on the treadmill. This is a person that they said I was hemi-paralyzed, you know. And I'll tell you something, I heard in my mind, I was saying in my mind, and I was saying out loud, I can't, in the beginning, I can't walk. I'm not able to walk very well. And then I said, wait a second. The more you say that, the more you're going to create that. So I changed it and I started saying, I'm walking. I'm walking. I can walk. And you know what? I walked myself into being able to walk. I got a brace in the second year, and that really helped because my ankle's like this. It's like a wet noodle,
Yeah.
but it gives me stability. And, it's adaptions. No, I'm not the girl that I used to be. And, when I did this play, I did the whole play without my cane. And it was really powerful because I was just defying. I just said, I'm going to do what I love. So I encourage you all to, whatever it is that you love, find a way, find a way to do that. If it's cooking, figure out how you can cook. If you're in a wheelchair, figure out a way that maybe you need help, but you can still they've got all these great adaptive tools now. I mean, there's just so many things we can do. So if you look at what you can do and not what you can't do, you'll have much more joy. We can't wait for joy on the outside. We have to create that joy from within.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, transformative. Because if, for me, someone one day told me now, forget it may have been you, I don't know, but someone said, because I said I can't walk. They said, don't say that. You can't walk. Don't say that. You will. I am walking because I
I
do
told
walk.
you.
I do walk with my rail, so I do walk.
Yes.
But I want to toss me. I'm gonna keep. I'm forgetting about audience. I want to make a shout out to everybody that's up at Rice Bend in North Carolina. We've got Sheriff Patterson in Niagara Falls.
Ah,
Yeah, we got Scott White in Georgia.
good morning. Wow.
Yeah, Sheriff Patterson's loving you. She's like, she says, mindset. Mindset is the way because it really is really what you're speaking about, what you're talking about, Kim, is mindset. And so I want the audience to really pick up on what Kim is saying, a choice.
Yeah,
It's stroke is not what we are, stroke is what happened to us.
that's
How
right.
we respond, it dictates who we are.
That's it. And it's our free will. This is our free will. That's what choice is, And when we do need to accept that this has happened to us, but we don't have to accept that this is the way you're going to be always.
Right.
That is, and you also have to choose to have joy, not let it take your spirit. I think that's a really important,
Really.
you
Repeat
know,
that to Martin.
we give up our peace, we give up our spirit, we give up our joy. And if the stroke that's happened to us takes that from us, we're giving it up. Don't let that happen. We have to defy it, right? Just because it happened to us doesn't mean that defines us.
Oh, yeah. Sherry Pettis says thank you.
You're
Says thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for saying that, Kim, because we need to be reminded of that. We're going to maybe later on we get to another podcast on the power of choice and the power of decision because I'm with you. I just did a 3-part series on mindset. And it really was you choose your future, you choose how you're going to live your stroke life out. And you actually can choose it.
And you know what, Aaron? The way we choose our future is by choosing each moment. If you feel down here, choose. I practice opposite action. You know, it's not about what I'm feeling. It's I get up anyway. If I listen to feelings, I wouldn't do very much. You know, I do it regardless. And I think that opposite action is a very powerful reminder that just because we feel sad or we feel um, just overwhelmed, we feel like nothing's going to change, doesn't mean we have to hang out with that feeling. We can say, yes, thank you for sharing, but I'm choosing to get up and do this right now. Or it's each moment is what makes up our life.
Yeah, it, really, that's really true. We get too far out, but we don't know what the future holds. But, it comes back to that saying the best way to predict the future is create it.
Is what? Is
Create it.
create it. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And we do create our futures by creating today, right now. What am I doing right now? It's baby steps.
Yeah.
And celebrate the victories. There's small little victories. In my video, I'm oh, thank you. In my video, I'm peeling. I'm with my daughter, and I'm making uh, deviled eggs or something. Yeah, I'm doing making deviled eggs with her, and I'm laughing and I'm giggling because I'm peeling these, eggs, these hard boiled eggs, and I'm giggling and she's going, "Mom, why do you keep doing it?" I said, "Because I'm so thrilled basically that I'm actually doing this." Celebrate the small things, little things, instead of why can't I be this way? Well, I used to be this way, you know.
Yeah, when I think about myself, I couldn't even hold my head up. I couldn't sit in a wheelchair. They had to strap me in with seatbelt because I slide right out. I was like a wet noodle. So I've come a long way in 12 years.
Yeah.
I really
Yes,
have.
you have. It's
So,
amazing, and I'm sure you're still healing. You're still
oh yeah,
getting better and better. And things that maybe like we talked before the show, they're always keep seeking new possibilities because something that happened a couple of years ago. Aaron's 12 years into a stroke. This is my 9th year, and I'll tell you something. In my 7th year, I slipped and I cracked my femur, and that was such a setback. And I was in a wheelchair for 6 weeks. When I was had the stroke, I was only in a wheelchair for a few moments, like a week maybe, or not even a week. Yeah, about a week, and maybe 2. But that was 6 weeks. And with stroke recovery, they say, do everything you can to get better. And with breaks, you can't get on your foot or on your leg for 6 weeks. It was torture. And I
Right.
just had to keep breathing through, not falling backwards. And I finally got through it and I did my play. In 2020, the play was supposed to happen. It was COVID. 2021, COVID still. 2022, we did it in May. And if anybody wants to see the play, it's 90 minutes and it is about my life and my partner's life, not my husband's life, but a woman I met here in Bend. She didn't have a stroke, but it's a great contrast between the two of us. And I made that, and it's a offering of $20 to Stroke Awareness Oregon. My video is free. I made it. That's my gift. You know, like my book. I wrote a book. I had been in show business. I was a professional actress and singer. Started at 19, and I just through the music business, I got involved with lots of drugs and I went down. I came from a very loving, happy family and it just took me down. I was not prepared. I was so naive. And I hated myself when I got clean and I had to turn my life around. And my book is a gift to all the people that helped me, and Alcoholics Anonymous truly helped me. And I was very active in AA and CA for the first 11 years of my sobriety. Now I'm going to be 40 years clean and sober this year. And it just blows my mind.
Wow.
But I wrote that book as that. And then the video was for stroke survivors. So, and then I did the play and I thought, well, Lanae did Stroke Awareness Oregon. That's her way of giving and helping people. And I said, I'm going to do something that's going to motivate and inspire people of stroke and all people. You don't have to just have a stroke. Like I said, we all have deficits. So you can call me. You'll get my number on the video, and you can call me and I will send it to you if you're willing to give that $20 to Stroke Awareness Oregon. That's just the way I set that up.
You know, you made a mention earlier about something I really want to kind of have you, if you were to give a piece of advice, say to a stroke survivor out there that's kind of stuck or kind of newer, what would be your advice for that stroke survivor?
Well, first, I would say when I've been stuck, those moments of feeling stuck, I forgive myself and I love myself. And I just say, baby, it's okay. You know, I believe very much in mirror work, in saying affirmations into the mirror. I love you. You're beautiful. You're just so precious. You know, I can look in the mirror, and I think it's really important, especially for stroke survivors, because I felt like a monster. You know, I had this incredible physicality. I had worked, I'd made really good money, you know, acting and dancing. And, you know, I did like 10, 12 commercials. And a lot of them were dancing. And I lost all that. And so that stuck feeling is you got to just forgive yourself. That's the first thing. And admit you're stuck. Sometimes you have to write, and sometimes you have to ask for help. If you don't have, like, I share everything with God. I happen to have a higher power that I can call God. That's not a buzzword. I work with a lot of people that God is a buzzword. I have a client right now. That's not that she can't do that, but she's learning to meditate anyway and connect to something higher in herself. You know, that's as good as she can do. Great. There's no right way. You have to start where you are. So if you're stuck, you have to admit it. You have to write about it. You have to share it with another human being. And you have to make a choice to take opposite action. Do a physical, something physical, do something mental, like looking in the mirror and saying the opposite of what you're thinking, because you're thinking all no hope. It's all no hope thinking. Okay. So that's what that's what I do. That's what, you know, I feel a little floundering right now in my life. And then I broke my arm. So I did the leg in the 7, did my play, and 3 minutes later I slipped and, well, actually I stepped on my cat's. Oh yeah, I stepped on my cat's arm. I mean, her tail. It's my arm that I broke, and I fell on my bathroom floor. So now I'm like the bionic woman in the left side, and these things just keep. And I can hardly raise my hand now. This takes every bit of my energy, and I was doing this with my arm before, and I'm back again, and it's just you know, I feel like I'm always in recovery. And, you know, so we always have these things that life is going to present, but it doesn't have to take us down, and we don't have to go into the doldrums. If we speak about it, if we share it with another person, it's when it stays in the shadows that it grows. The no hope thinking. Nothing's ever going to change. That's no hope thinking. This is the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I can't believe this happened. These are the thoughts that get you into that place of feeling stuck. But you have to bring them out into the light. And if you can write them down, but always call somebody, share them. If you need a therapist, get a therapist. If you need somebody, if you've got a friend that you can talk to and cry. But once you cry, then you just gotta say, okay. Like I told you, I'm a meditator. I go in that 3rd year, all of a sudden I had all these regrets come up in my meditation, and I would weep through each meditation every morning. But I got up and started doing my stuff. I felt it, because you got to feel your feelings, but then you got to transmute it and take opposite action. And I'd get up the 4th year, I had all of a sudden this underground river of sadness. And I just allowed it to be. I processed it, but I didn't romance the sadness, if you understand what I mean. Because when we romance the sadness is when we go into depression. I shared it. I shared it with my friends. I always share everything with God. That's my go-to for me. But if you don't have that, then you got to share it with a friend. You got to, unburden yourself. You're not
Well,
alone.
Kim, will you come back on the show? 'Cause we're getting down the last few minutes of the show. But will you come back on the podcast and teach us and help us to learn to meditate? Now, I know it's good for your soul, good
Oh
for
my
your mind,
gosh.
good for it's just good for our body. It's good.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so please come back and teach us to meditate. And
Okay.
I really want to thank you for being here and
Thank
thank
you,
you for
Aaron.
sharing with us.
You all.
What is the best way people, if they want to reach out to you, what is the best way they could reach out to you?
They can call me, and if I don't pick up, leave me a message and I'll call you back.
All right, what is your phone number? Say it
So
aloud.
it is 818-439-7515.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, so got
And if you
that.
didn't write that down, if you watch my video, it is on. It is at the end. So,
Okay.
yeah. Thank
All right,
you.
well, Kim, I can't thank you enough for being here. Because we even I talked about how fast that 30 minutes would go. Well, it's past. It's about well over
Go
30.
on and on and on. You know that, Aaron, just like you could.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Kim, thank you for being there. Appreciate that. Thank you for your positive energy and
Yes.
the positive outlook.
Can
And
I say one more thing, Aaron?
please, please.
You're always helping somebody else. That you always have something to give. That's another thing that helps you get unstuck. You always have something to give. Reach out to another stroke survivor at your rehab. Go up to another stroke survivor and say, "Hey, what happened to you? Here's what happened to me." Connect.
It really does shift your energy. I
It
know I
does.
love serving the stroke
Yes.
community. I love it.
Yes, me
And
too.
I want people, my brothers and sisters out there, hear what Kim and I are saying. Reach out and use your stroke. Don't curl up, remain quiet. Reach out to another human being and help them because they
That's it.
need you.
That's
Don't you
it.
agree?
I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yes.
All right. Well, Kim, thank you so much for being here. Stay in the agreement. I will be talking to you right after this, but thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Set me on fire.